Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the April 2017 Awards and Recognition Ceremony for Polk County Fire Rescue. At this time, if you're able, I would appreciate if you would stand and remain standing as we present our colors. At this time, I'd like Chaplain Mike Zorrell to give us the invocation. Please remain standing.
Let's all bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, the Creator of all, we come to you today to give honor to our fellow firefighters, whom we're very proud of, their hard work, their tenacity. We also recognize and give you honor and praise. You are the source of all good. You are the source of our strength and our blessing. Thank you for the gifts that you've given us in our life. And we thank you for the opportunity that we could gather here today. I ask you for your hand of blessing upon this meeting. And Lord, I even pause for a moment to remember Kevin Sharman, who's in the hospital. God, that you give speedy recovery to his body. And Lord, we just pray that you continue to guide and direct this meeting. Lord, give us wisdom, productivity, and respect for one another. Thank you for your helping us to accomplish all the work that you have for us to do. In your precious name, amen.
Please remain standing as Chief Parnell leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All uniformed personnel, present. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated, please. If everyone would take just a moment and turn your electronic devices down from rock concert loud to somewhat less annoying, we would certainly appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to recognize some distinguished guests that we have here on the podium. We have Commissioner Todd Dantzler, which you'll be hearing from him very shortly. We have County Manager Jim Freeman on the far end. We have our new Deputy County Manager of Public Safety, Joe Hallman, and we have Deputy County Manager Gary Hester here at this time as well. I did not see any other dignitaries come in. If I did, I apologize if I overlooked you. At this time, I'd also like to recognize the Polk County Fire Rescue Executive Staff, which is also on the stage here with me. We have Fire Chief Tony Stravino, who's standing right behind me, Assistant Chief Rick Parnell, which you heard with the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Deputy Chief of EMS, Raf Vatone, on the end down there. We have our newest Deputy Chief of Logistics and Special Services, Rob Weech. We have the Deputy Chief of Operations on the east side, Tony Kraus. The Deputy Chief of Operations on the west side, Colin Fredericks. And the Deputy Chief of Training and Special Operations, Mike Linkins. I'm the Deputy Chief of Planning and Prevention, and my name is Keith Williams, for those that don't know who I am. At this time, I would like to call our Fire Chief, Stravino, to the podium for some brief announcements and comments. Chief?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending our award ceremony. Let me begin by saying once again how honored I am to be here and to be able to formally recognize the outstanding work our employees do and to be able to show what great teams we have out there providing service by recognizing unit citations, celebrated tenure, and promotions. I want to convey my appreciation to every single member of this great agency for the work you do. I also wanted to once again thank the Board of County Commissioners and thank Commissioners Danzo and Braswell, County Manager Freeman, and Deputy County Managers Holman and Hester for their continued support and their unwavering support of our mission and getting us the resources we need. And most of all, I want to thank the families here, because without you, they can't do what they do. We appreciate everything you do for them. We know it's tough on holidays and nights and weekends when they're leaving you or have left you for the day, so we appreciate everything you do, and I'm sure they share that with you. Our 70 fire and medical companies respond to nearly 90,000 calls for service each year, almost all of which are medical incidents, vehicle or industrial accidents, hazardous materials conditions, or fires. And they rarely make the headlines or are nominated for awards, but I want you to know that your efforts are not diminished or unheralded. No less, you are a hero to everyone in this community. Excuse me. This afternoon, we congratulate 32 members who have successfully achieved the milestone of promotion, number of sworn personnel and civilians who have performed extraordinary under duress, and employees who have reached certain tenured seniority milestones. As I reviewed the highlights of this afternoon's ceremony, I was struck by the consistent theme involving the question of risk and how we respond to that risk. All of us, regardless of vocation, face risks. We face risks when we decide how to invest our money, whether to take a leave or job, where to live, who to marry. Many of these risks we take knowingly and often after lengthy consideration of the pros and cons. The promotional candidates here specifically, as well as our tenured employees we honor this afternoon, have taken this kind of risk. A lot of times the safest course of action always involves maintaining the status quo. These employees have chosen a more difficult route. When we aspire to greater challenges and responsibilities, we hope the rewards are great, but the reality is we also know there's a risk of failure. So we pledge to work harder, learn more, and dedicate ourselves more fully to this job. I know that you and all of our other employees have done exactly this. Congratulations to each and every one of you for taking that risk and being willing to step into the forefront. Of course, sometimes life brings certain risks that we don't have the luxury to contemplate. We go about our daily business and suddenly circumstances ask us to do something out of the ordinary, something we're not used to doing, maybe we weren't trained appropriately to do, something that may either cost us physically or emotionally. Many of our award winners today here have done just that. Without warning, faced a risk and responded. Where there was danger and confusion, Polk County Fire Rescue employees bring care and compassion, but also command and courage, and I thank you for that. Today we recognize the outstanding work of you and all the other employees here who serve this department and the countless residents, visitors, and businesses of this community. Thank you again. The brave men and women who serve our Polk County Fire Rescue Division put duty above danger, and by doing so, they represent the very highest values of Polk County. I look forward to continuing the work together to ensure every resident feels safe, knowing that Polk County Fire Rescue is always ready to serve and protect. Again, thank you very much for your service. I appreciate it.
At this time, I'd like to call Commissioner Todd Dantzler to the podium for some brief comments.
Brief comments, you must have heard me talk before. I want to thank you all for inviting me to be here with you this afternoon. I'm very, very proud of all our fire rescue employees. On behalf of all the commissioners, we would like to convey our appreciation to every single member of the Polk County Fire Rescue Team, and that does not only apply to those in uniform, it applies to your families that put up with an awful lot of time when you're not there. There are so many great things that you do every day. With the extremely dry weather this spring, you have been called into duty more frequently and to some pretty large fires. At the most recent fire at Indian Lake Estates, thanks to your great work, you were able to save hundreds of homes from burning. I also saw in the news this week the story of a truly grateful man whose life was saved after being bitten by a rattlesnake. I hope Commissioner Braswell is okay. That's what he gets for not being here. I also know the long hours that our teams put into assisting at the Sun and Fund to keep everyone safe there as well. I saw you there. I was there on a Saturday. I know it had been a long week, so I do appreciate what you do. Recently, some of you were thanked by a family for quickly identifying their loved one who was having a stroke. Today, the woman is out of the hospital and is recovering well. There are so many more stories, but one that really speaks to the character of Polk County Fire Rescue is how you all pitched in while you were off duty to help one of your own members, J.J. Jablonski, and his family before he passed away. And I congratulate you all for all that you've done there. My fellow commissioners and I appreciate all that you do for us and all you do for our citizens. Thank you for your hard work and dedication to Polk County Fire Rescue and the residents whom we all serve. Congratulations on your accomplishment, and please keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. At this time, we would like to recognize members that have achieved milestones in their employment. And one of the things that the county does is recognize members for years of service. The service years that are recognized are at the 2-year mark, 5-year mark, 10-year mark, 15-year mark, 20, 25, 30, and beyond. And at this time, we have some members that are receiving those recognitions here today, starting with the 2-year recognition. At this time, I'd like for paramedic Gina Rixo to come forward. She has been employed with Polk County Fire Rescue for 2 years at this point in time. The first one is always the pilot test to see how our plan is going to work, and it looks like it worked pretty good. So the rest of you pretty much have to follow Gina's lead right here. So thank you, Gina. At this time, we'd like to also recognize somebody that has reached the 10-year mark of employment, and that is Engineer Bobby Correll. Next to be recognized is a person that works in my branch of the department. Many times people get us confused. I don't know why. We do have the same last name. One of us happens to be more handsome than the other does. But we have Captain Jack Williams for 20 years of service with Polk County Fire Rescue. Go right. Okay, the rest of you don't follow Jack's lead, please. I think he did that just to get back at me. And certainly, last but not least, in the years of service, we have Captain Vernon Austin with 25 years of service with Polk County Fire Rescue. Captain Austin has served in all the positions within the fire department up into and including battalion chief. Has numerous state certifications. Was named the Lakeland Knights of the Round Table Firefighter of the Year in 1992. And he has a wife, Kelly, 4 daughters, 3 sons, a dog, and a cat. So thank you very much for 25 years of service, sir. Was anybody here that had years of service that I might have missed or we did not capture on the initial? Okay. The next category that we'd like to recognize today are what we call unit citations. These are for companies that are in the the department, engine companies, ladder companies, medic rescue companies, that exemplary performance of duties are what they have done. On the first one involves an incident that occurred back on October the 9th, 2016. At that time, Engine 451 and Medic 45 A shift responded to a reported drowning in the Inwood Janfield Village area. And at that point in time, as they were responding, they were also advised that there was a probability that the child was still in the water. It involved a pediatric response. When they arrived on scene, they were led to the pool behind the house by the family members, and when they arrived at that location, they found a pool that was not well maintained with zero visibility. You could not see the bottom. And without hesitation, led by the captain at the time, Lance Meacham, they prepared to enter the water and attempt a rescue. They were all confirmed that the child had to be in that location. They entered the pool, formed an arm-in-arm length, and began to move from the shallow end to the deeper end of the pool. Reported the pool was approximately 14 feet deep at the deepest point. They had progressed to the point they had not been able to locate the child when the water got too deep for them to proceed, and they began to separate and dive down to see if they could find something. On the second dive, one person found the infant or the child, and they were immediately removed from the pool area and was taken to the side where advanced life support treatment began by the remaining member of the crew that had remained on the patio deck area for safety reasons. ALS proceedings were begun, transport was initiated, and tragically the child did not survive. But because of those incidents were above and beyond the call of duty, what is normally within our realm of experience and our responsibility, they performed admirably under the very trying situations. This week at the President's Roundtable in Lakeland, which is the service clubs of the greater Lakeland area, the Kiwanis, the Rotary, the Lions, and the Sertoma clubs, these crew members were also recognized for their performance of the event by that group. A very admirable accomplishment and achievement. At this point in time, I'd like to call the crew members forward that are here. We have Paramedic Captain Lance Meacham, Engineer EMT Nicholas Blair, EMT Firefighter Clay Cooper-Ryder, and the medic crew was unable to attend. The medic crew was Michelle Chris, Paramedic, and EMT Jason Lamana. Thank you very much. The medic crew will also receive the similar plaque and uniform ribbon at a later date here. On the evening of November 22nd, 2016, Engine 111 and Medic 12 were dispatched to a long fall in the Kathleen area northwest of Lakeland. The patient, being an elderly person, had fallen while attempting to hang Christmas lights as decorations. As the crew worked on the patient and transported him to Lakeland Regional Health Center, the engine company remained on scene after placing themselves in service in case an emergent call came in. And they took it upon themselves to continue the decorations and made sure that the house was decorated with the project that was initially started. And while it was very low-key in what they did, we became aware of it as a department by a neighbor that had actually posted the picture that you see on the screen above you on their Facebook page at another fire department. Once we became aware of that, we certainly took note of it. And for this time, we'd like to recognize Engine 111, Captain Joe McQueen and firefighter paramedic Jeremy Griffin for their work on that activity. Firefighter EMT Lee Harris was not able to make it here today. He had a prior commitment. I think the words he used to me were daddy duty. The next recognitions for the remaining portion of the ceremony here are for individuals that have also achieved milestones of promotions within the organization. The first one that we'd like to recognize is Administrative Secretary Deborah Jones. Please come forward. Deborah was promoted on the 13th of February of this year to her current position. And what we will do is you'll go to the center of the stage. I think I'm going to probably pay for this at some point in time. Thank you. The second promotion that we have is for our new education manager, Rosa Lalonde. She was promoted on the 27th of February, 2017. For many of you that know, Rosa has served as the public education officer for a number of years at Polk County Fire Rescue, with also service prior to that in Polk County EMS and Polk County Sheriff's Office. At that point, thanks to Chief Stravino, we were able to also increase the number of personnel in the public education. We now have one part-timer and an additional full-time person. So we've gone from basically Rosa and anybody else that could help her to 2.5 full-time employees with additional personnel supporting her in the management of public education. So congratulations, Rosa. Okay, the next group of people are going to come forward, received promotion into a uniform position within the fire department. They will come up, I will introduce them. They will come up at the center of the stage and remain standing while I administer the oath of office to their position. And at that point in time, if they have family members that are present in the audience to come forward and officially badge them or pin them, as they refer to in many of the paramilitary organizations and military, at that point in time. All of the family members that are present are welcome to come forward. We have photographers down front to take the pictures of that event, and we also, like we said earlier, will have staged opportunities later. All we ask, if you do pin them, don't draw blood, please. All right, we have firefighter Daniel Durham. Was promoted on 3/13/2017 to position of firefighter. We have firefighter Corey Steele, was also promoted on 3/13/2017. After you get your picture taken with the chief, you get to stand there for a minute. All right, I'd like for you to raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, and please state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of a Polk County Fire Rescue firefighter. Thank you very much. You can lower your hand. They've set the bar for the rest of you to have to do it. Do we have anybody here to pin? I neglected to mention that the individuals that are promoted and are recognized here in this ceremony today, their personnel actions took place between September 1st of 2016 and March 31st of this year. So we looked at a window of opportunity here for the individuals, and certainly they are not the only ones that were promoted during that time, but they were the only ones that were available to come to the ceremony today. Moving on to the next position in the rank structure is engineer, and at this point in time, we have driver engineer Corey Hester. He was promoted to driver engineer on 9/26 of 2016. We also have Nathan Holyfield, promoted to driver engineer, also on 9/26/2016. And we have Brad McCard, also promoted to driver engineer on 9/26/2016. Let's see if I can go 2 for 2 on this. Please raise your right hand and repeat the oath after me, if you would. I, and please state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of a Polk County Fire Rescue engineer. You may lower your hand. Oh, hold on, we got one more line. I knew it was going to do it. Of which I'm now about to enter. So help me God. Okay, it's obvious I didn't go 2 for 2. I need to move my thumb out from where I'm holding it. At this point in time, family members can come forward to pin them. Under the leadership of Chief Stervino, assisted by the Deputy Chief of Training, Mike Lincolns, we've had an opportunity to increase the staff within the training division. The next group of individuals are captains of the training officers within the training division, and I'd like to, at this point in time, bring up Brianna Campion. Brianna was promoted to the rank of Captain of Training Officer Level 1 on 2/27/2017. Next we have Captain Lisa Correll. Lisa's Training Officer Captain 1. She too was promoted on the 27th of February 2017. Next we have Captain Anthony Robinson, who was promoted to Training Officer 3. Also on 27th of February 2017. Next we have Captain Mike Gritzmacher. He was promoted to Training Officer 3, Captain Training Officer 3 on 3/13 of 2017. And certainly last but not least is Captain Henley Lestraps. Captain Training Officer 1, also promoted on 2/27 of 2017. All right, captains, if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and please state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of a Polk County Fire Rescue Captain on which I am now about to enter. So help me God. You may lower your hands. At this point in time, family members can come forward to pin or badge our captains. We had to do it. What is often considered the pinnacle of the line personnel within an organization is the rank of battalion chief. The next group of individuals were recently promoted to the rank of battalion chief, and at this time I'd like to recognize Levi Burrell, battalion chief, promoted on 12/19 of 2016. Next, I'd like to recognize Battalion Chief Ramon Gonzalez. That's my best Kathleen accent of Spanish. Next, I'd also like to recognize Battalion Chief Eric Johnson. He too was promoted on 12/5/2016. And certainly, last but not least, Battalion Chief Jennifer Huff, also promoted on 12/5/2016. As mentioned earlier, Battalion Chief Kevin Shireman was also scheduled to be here, but unfortunately he was hospitalized with a line of duty injury at about 9 o'clock on Tuesday night. He remains hospitalized at Lakeland Regional, so please keep him in your thoughts and prayers like Chaplain Zarl mentioned, please. At this time, if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me the oath of office. I, and please state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of a Polk County Fire Rescue Battalion Chief, on which I am now about to enter. So help me God. You may lower your arm. The families would come forward for the pinning, and we'd appreciate that. In the hierarchy within the fire service, the next rank beyond the battalion chief is usually the deputy chief, and in this case we have two deputy chiefs to recognize today. We have first Deputy Chief Colin Fredericks, who serves as the West Operations Deputy Chief. Chief Fredericks was promoted to that position on 12/5 of 2017. Next, we have Rob Weech. Rob was promoted to Deputy Chief on 1/30 of 2017. Gentlemen, if you'd please raise your right hand and repeat after me the oath. I, and please state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of a Polk County Fire Rescue Deputy Chief, on which I am now about to enter. So help me God. Thank you. Chief Wheat serves as a logistics. At this point in time, that is all the recognitions that we have for promotions, but we're not done yet. Don't get up yet. At this point in time, I'd like to call the Deputy County Manager, Doe Hallman, for a few words.
Good afternoon. Can we give all of the award recipients and those who got promoted another round of applause? Now, I think we had this room until 5 o'clock. So, since I'm a preacher, I got about 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Take all the time you want, sir.
To our county commissioner, Dantzler, to our county manager, Mr. Jim Freeman, and certainly our deputy county manager, Gary Hester, to our fire chief, Stravino, and staff, and certainly all of the friends here today. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak today. What do you cry about? What do you sing about? What do you dream about? You see, what you cry about is your burden. You do realize that as a leader, you carry the burden. And I want to congratulate each of you here this afternoon. In my short time here as Deputy County Manager for Public Safety, I've seen the amazing work being done by Polk County Fire Rescue. Most recently, I witnessed firefighters saving hundreds of homes in the Indian Lake Estates. One of our firefighters got injured while attending to the wife of a drunk and being assaulted. Our battalion chief, Kevin Sharman, was severely injured after a wild man, either on K2 or experiencing some kind of mental issue, bit his arm. Yet he rose to the occasion and assisted Deputy Sheriff Skinner in arresting this individual. Make no mistake about it, Polk County is blessed with some of the best set of public safety personnel in the world. You ought to give yourselves a hand. And so I'm thankful to be here. This is my first time that I've been able to address you all. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm sure as good firefighters and rescue personnel, you've Googled me and you've asked some of the folks who work for me at the sheriff's office. But since I was 14 years old, I've wanted to be a part of public safety. I served this community as a police cadet. At age 15, became a loss prevention manager at Kmart, auxiliary officer. At 18, I was hired as a deputy sheriff while in the academy. Worked there for 31 years, and yes, I survived Gary Hester as well. But Gary was my sergeant, and I'm very thankful for him for what he's taught me over the years. But I was blessed to be able to rise to the rank of chief of law enforcement and retire and then come back as director of professional development. I want you to know that it takes dedication, it takes hard work, it takes education, it takes going the extra mile, it takes the support of the family and your loved ones. I found out that over the last 31, 32 years, many folks started out with me, and they didn't make it to retirement because they didn't have the support system of their loved ones. Oh yes, family, you can either make them or you can break them, and we want all of them to be successful. But most importantly, I want everyone to understand who's being hired or promoted today that you didn't get where you are overnight. I didn't get where I am overnight. But we're here because we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Each and every day, you're going to face some challenges. Our challenge as fire rescue is to respond to calls for service safely, swiftly, and be effective. Oh, by the way, yes, we expect you to provide excellent customer service, internally and externally. As a matter of fact, I expect you to treat people like you would want them to treat your mama. Not only that, but you must always be honest, ethical, moral. Don't ever lie or provide this buzzword today, alternative facts. Because honesty is the best policy, and the public demand and expect this. I have a favorite quote, and that is, right always prevail. I find that out. Even when they lie on you, sometimes public do lie on us. But if we do what is right, it will always outlive a lie. Hear me clearly. Your integrity is all that you have. At the end of the day, your integrity is speak for who you are. And so I want to say to each of you, make sure you maintain it and always do the right thing. Not just when it's popular or someone is watching you, but always do the right thing. In my closing, I know you as professional fire rescue see and have to deal with some really difficult situations every day. Yes, you do. Some calls are heartbreaking and really tough to deal with, and I'm sure you take it home with you or wherever you go. But yet every day as firefighters and paramedics and EMT, somewhere in this county, you are making it happen. You're responding to babies drowning in murky pools, and you risk your own lives and safety by jumping into that water just to fish out a child. You risk your lives by entering a car fully engulfed in flames and pulling that person out to safety. Some mother or father somewhere will have a heart attack or have a stroke, and you'll respond and provide life-saving measures. Or better yet, a rattlesnake bites a person, and you respond and take the appropriate medical action, and you save that person's life. For that, I stand today and say thank you. Thank you for the service to Polk County. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for making it happen every day. Thank you for all you do. I want you to know that if you ever need anybody to talk to, you can give me a call. I care dearly about every one of you. You're simply the best. And I look forward to meeting each of you at some points in my travel. So again, I say thank you. May God bless America and the Polk County Fire Rescue.
Okay, we're going to go a little bit off script here just for a second. We wanted to take a special moment here. It's not in your program, but we wanted to take an opportunity here to thank somebody. Deputy County Manager Gary Hester, as you all know, Gary's leaving to go home to his hometown of Haines City, where he was born and raised to be the police chief. And as much as we're going to miss him, we understand and wish him nothing but the best. In my 7 months here at Polk County Fire Rescue, Chief Hester has been a mentor, a confidant, counsel, and more importantly, a friend, and I will miss him. He's always had Polk County Fire Rescue in his heart and did the very best to move this agency forward. His accomplishments and contributions are far too many to note here in a few minutes, but I did want to take a minute to highlight the evidence of his dedication, contributions, and accomplishments to Polk County, and specifically fire rescue. Some include garnering both the political and public support to successfully campaign for an increase in the fire tax to begin to address our significant shortcomings in service delivery. He championed and developed a partnership with Polk State College to create our public safety leadership class for us. He secured reoccurring funding to pay for inequities and focus on fixing the compression amongst our salaries. He developed the Office of Professional Standards, permitting professional and non-biased investigations while ensuring our firefighter Bill of Rights is protected. He's instrumental in the last 2 years in identifying and securing one-time unbudgeted funds to help us address some critical needs in our infrastructure, such as their safety equipment, engine and ambulances, fleet replacement, and fire stations, all outside the budget. So on behalf of the staff, Chief Hester, if you don't mind standing up for a second and come on over here. Our command staff has commissioned this made for you to proudly display it where you see fit. On the last day of your command, May 12th, we will take the flag that flies over Fire Rescue Headquarters and give it to you to place in this case. It's a small token of our appreciation and respect for all you did for the division. We wish you much success in your new endeavor. We'll miss you. Godspeed. You want to say something, Chief?
Thank you very much, and yeah, I appreciate credit for all that, especially me being a good Republican. That thing about tax increase, I'm not sure that's good, but I know that Commissioner Dantzler had to make that vote, but I appreciate it, and I certainly will take the heat for that. But it truly is a team effort. This isn't something that I was able to do. Mr. Freeman has gave me some pretty direct direction of things he wanted to see happen in Polk County Fire Rescue, and Jim's been a great friend, great mentor. He certainly fights hard for y'all each and every day, and the 5 commissioners have really worked hard over the last 2.5, 3 years to invest what money is available in what you do, and I think Chief Hallman summed it up by the service you provide each day, and most of that you never read about it in the newspaper. It didn't take me long here to figure out that some of the hardest working men and women I've ever been around in my life work for Polk County Fire Rescue. I still give Chief Stravino a hard time about the fact that he came here from Broward County. You notice that's really not a southern accent he has. I don't know if you noticed that or not. I thought he really came from somewhere at least north of I-4, but Chief Stravino, the department he came from, and I use this frequently after me and Mr. Freeman discovered it, looking at Chief Stravino and his background. The department he came from has 250 more firefighters or FTEs in their public safety area than we have in Polk County. Their budget is almost twice our budget, and they run half the calls you run each and every day. That's kind of an indication of how busy we are here, how much you do, and the great outcomes you have. So it's been an honor and privilege to serve with you, and y'all being very gracious and giving me credit for a lot of that, but it really is a team effort. It can't happen without everyone working together, and each and every one of you. You have to keep a positive attitude, work hard every day, make the best of bad situations, and stay focused. I think you certainly are on the right trajectory. I know it's the goal of the commission, the manager, Chief Hallman, Chief Stravino, the command staff, and I think most members of Fire Rescue to continue to make this a great place to work and serve our fellow citizens. So thank you, God bless you, and I'll certainly display this with a lot of pride in my new office.
We're almost done, folks. When people get toward their end of their tenure, a lot of times they have a tendency to back off. And when thinking about things that nature does, one of the things that happens is, people sort of, nature, animals sort of tend to what we call hibernate. And one thing that I'd like to do at this point in time is actually ask Gary to come back up here for a second. Now, many people have referred to Mr. Hester as the bear, and I did not.
Teddy bear, right?
The adjective in front of the bear remains to be identified. But I did not offer this to him about 2 years ago, because I figured he might use it as a weapon against me. But I have something you can display in your office in the future, and I'd like to give it to you. It says, "Quiet, please, bear hibernating." Thank you. Appreciate it. We always had a joke. We both started the same day with the county this time, and I think we back and forth more than once said that one or the other might outlast the other one. And I guess if I show up on May 15th, if Mr. Freeman and Chief Sterino allow me to, I outlasted you. I may not be here on the 16th, but at this point in time, this pretty well concludes the activities here. Would like the individuals that received a recognition here today, if they would please be so kind as to line up in front of the stage here, and those in the audience, as well as the executive staff and members on the stage up here, if they would go down the line and offer their congratulations to each and every one of those. At the end of that opportunity in the Eagle's Nest, which if you go out the door here to the lobby, take a right, take the first left, and the first right off of that is a area where it's called the break room, also referred to as the Eagle's Nest. We have some snacks set up for nourishment and for some fellowship. So at this time, if the individuals that received recognition would come forward, line up in front. And after they get in place, the rest of the audience is dismissed to come by and congratulate them. And we will also have the photographer available for any individual pictures. We're coming back up on stage for anybody that you wish to have in your photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come here and help us recognize these individuals of Polk County Fire Rescue for their accomplishments and achievements in their career. Thanks a lot, folks. Y'all be safe out there, and have a great rest of the day.